Hello, hello. Happy Monday. You have the case of the Mondays. ABX Audiophile. Look at this guy. $5. Get yourself a coffee real quick. Switching to water. I did have coffee this morning, but I'm committed for the rest of today to only drink water. And that's important because I drink about 17 sodas a day. Not sugar sodas, but like, I don't know, Coke Zero sodas. All right. And then we got Mr. Carpenter, SC. Is that South Carolina? It's very cool. Thank you, guys. $10 before I even get on here. You guys are the best. People. You people are the best. Happy Monday. Let's go, chat. Hey, like this live stream. If you're do you hear this? I bought this fancy chair. It wasn't too fancy, but it was somewhat fancy for me. And it creaks like crazy. If you have any solutions for a creaky computer chair, please drop it in the comments. What? Ed Homewood 1417? It's very specific, and I love it. Good afternoon, my friend. Take the kids to Mickey D's. That's about exactly what it costs if I get 2 double cheeseburgers with the order. Ed actually wrote a script for me. I'm going to start working on that video pretty soon. It's a very interesting script. I don't want to give it away, but Ed has a unique insight into a major hi-fi company. So it's going to be very cool. We're going to talk about the rise, the fall, the rise again, and the kind of fall of a very famous audio brand. So I'm very, very excited. Ed's a good guy. Ed's one of my patrons. We have a great Patreon community too. So we have not only a Discord server, we have a Facebook group, and then we do patron Zooms on Sunday. And I think I'm going to step it up a little bit. I've got to do some thinking, but I think I'm going to figure out a way to give even more value to my awesome patrons. All right. Get a new chair or don't sit on it. That's a very good solution. Don't sit on it. WD-40. I'm going to try the WD-40. I was also thinking about just simply cutting out a piece of PVC that's the same diameter, because I don't really need to lower it or raise it, and just replacing the whole thing or putting the PVC around it. Anyway, I finally made it to a live stream on time. Yay. Thanks, Harry. Good to see you. You don't miss much. Look at this, Thomas Bowden. $10 super sticker. No questions. No strings attached. Just throwing me $10. Thank you very much, Thomas. All right. Let's do shout outs. Where are y'all from today? Got to go back down here. All right. We already got it. Tahuya, Washington. I may be out in the Pacific Northwest end of October. Steve Zeidman, another awesome patron, $9.99. Just saying hello. Gotta go. Steve, be safe. What's up, Edric? Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Richmond, Virginia. We got a lot of East Coasters. Mississauga. It's a YouTube user. Athens, Georgia. What's up, Unreal Wife? Hey, y'all. Tennessee, Lexington, Kentucky, Pennsylvania. Very nice. Athens, Georgia. It's where REM started, right? REM, Athens, Georgia. Southeast Michigan. Carson, Washington. I don't know where Carson's at. Columbus, Ohio. Calgary, Alberta. Ohio. I think I've been to every one of these. Chicago suburbs, Seattle, Washington. I believe I've been to every one of these except for Athens, Georgia. I haven't been to Lexington, though. I haven't been to Mississauga. Oh, my goodness. Look at this. Anthony Best, $5. I just purchased. Man, I can't talk today. A Freya. I am upgrading from IEMA T9. That's a heck of an upgrade. Is there any reason I should buy a single or a pair of Schiat Vidars? Is there any reason? Yeah, you're gonna get a better amp. Now, if you're going to do them bridged or in mono, make sure that your speakers don't dip down too terribly far, because they're rated at 8 ohms. Now, they're gonna play below 8 ohms easily, but if you have a really hard to drive speaker that dips down probably beyond about 4 ohms, then you just want to make sure that you don't put that thing in protect. My goodness, stuff is flowing like crazy. Wayne Bardo, $10, another patron. Lebanon, Tennessee. Thank you, Wayne. Wayne's sitting out in the middle of the Sahara Desert on a, I don't know what that is, an easy chair. Portland, Oregon. Lisa B. REM and the B-52s. That's awesome. I love the B-52s. The B-52s, when they had just a ton of rotation on MTV, I was like a middle school kid, and the B-52s, the dancing ladies, they made me feel things. Steve, $10. Love your channel. Bought a Ween based on your recommendation. It's great. That's awesome. Man, I cannot see a thing when I take my glasses off. It takes me a while to like focus up again, but they're super dirty. Super, super dirty. All right. Let's get into this. Cape Coral, Florida. My boy Simon, yet another patron. Hey, Randy, from West Virginia. Thanks for making my mowing even more enjoyable for the next hour. Love mowing. This is the time of year, too, when you mow. And it reminds me of football because the grass has that kind of fall smell to it. Yeah. Laugh out loud about the dancing ladies. Yes. All right. I need to make sure I did not miss any super chats. John Brender, $2.99. Thank you, my friend. We got another Chicago native. Try Flow for the chair. Okay. Oh, we got someone from the UK. Richard Glover. Finger Lakes. Whenever I hear that Finger Lakes, I think of the Office episode where Jim Carrey did like a cameo, and he's trying to get a job. He's like, I'm supposed to be in the Finger Lakes right now, but I came for this interview. Happy Meatless Monday. Meatless Monday. All right. Maybe I won't eat any meat. I had a minestrone today. That sounds like you should go see a doctor. I'm not familiar with that. San Jose, California, bought the ZIMs. So thank you for the awesome monitors. They're really good. I enjoy them. If I didn't have so many IMs to get through, I would legit just be listening to those for fun. Federal Way, Washington. Man, I remember that. Now, doesn't that sound like the name you give to a main street when there's just a dirt road? No, I remember Federal Way. Isn't that over on the west side of the Sound? It's somewhere around there because I remember Federal Way when I was out there with the Navy. $20. Boom. John Cardle dropping the bomb, the biggest super chat of the day. Hey, Randy, if you are in Las Vegas or like to listen and would like to listen to the LRS Plus, let me know. By the way, Viters are awesome when bridged. I would love to. I'm thinking about trying to make the trek to CES. I think that would be a lot of fun. Very good. Iggy lives near the Finger Lakes. Iggy's another patron. Barry Sullivan, fun chat last night about rescuing favorite albums. Yes, we had a fun chat on the Zoom about if there was a fire and you had the kids, the dog, everybody's safe. You got all the family photos. You got everything you want, but you could only save 5 records or 5 pieces of like physical media. What would those 5 pieces be? It was a fun thing. Wait a minute, National Cheeseburger Day? It was National Cheeseburger Day for me yesterday because Sunday I kind of do, I wouldn't call it cheat day because it's not like I'm dieting super crazy, but like I kind of let myself eat what I want on Sundays. So that was my National Cheeseburger Day. What? ABX lived in Federal Way for 10 years. Work, work, work. Hope you're doing well, Randy. Tuning in from Bakersfield. I've been to Bakersfield too. Drove all the way from to Cali from Louisiana, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Oregon up next. Very nice. Travel safely, my friend. Be careful out there. Very exciting. Very excited to go to the West Coast. I haven't been to Pacific Northwest in 20 years. So I'm excited. Guillermo, 40,000 somethings. Thank you very much. Just saying hi to everyone from Colombia. Enjoying my new M300 SE. Happy to have my decent system. Wing Pro, SMSL M300 SE, Fozzy BT20A Pro, Kanto, passive 5.25, and Ship 9600. That's a great system. Like, you've cherry picked almost the best pieces out of all those price categories. I bet it sounds great, man. And thank you so much for the super chat. Colombia. Karsten, $4.99. My friend, did you wind up fasting the rest of the day last week, or did you give in to the cheeseburger temptation? I think I did fast for the rest of the day. Yeah, the only cheeseburgers I've had all week were on yesterday, and I had 2. Sorry. I think I got charged for the same super chat twice, but I don't see it. Brian, I don't see it either. Everybody, Simon, get yourself a Secret Lab computer chair. They are amazing. I might have to do that. Let me see. I don't see it, Ryan. Hopefully it didn't go through, because if it went through, that would it didn't show up. I'm sorry. I just got a text that said 40,000 COP is like $10. So thank you very much, Guillermo. Very nice of you. Thank you. All right, good timing. You'll probably miss the smoke in P&W, Pacific Northwest. Yeah, I'm excited. Hi from Washington. Oh my goodness, so many chats. Have a great Monday, peoples. Enjoying Kef bookshelf speakers. Soundstage is 180 degrees. Can't tell I have loudspeakers. That's so cool. I think John Darko just put out a cool video about like the Kefs with the woofer about the bookshelves. They look really cool. I might be able to get those in. I've started sneaking up in price, so I think that might be a cool one to get in. No worries. It showed up on my CC, but I'll sort it and get it. You don't worry, Ryan. I just want to make sure that you're not getting ripped off. So anyway, fasting headaches are like somebody drove a nail in your head. I usually don't take it that far. And so usually I go to like 4 or 5 o'clock, and then I make a juice, like kale, broccoli, apples. What else do I put in there? Carrots. So I have one of those, and then I kind of eat whatever I want to eat later on in the night. So I kind of like do intermittent fasting with some juices during the week. 62 in San Juan Island. Whew, sounds wonderful. Buff, my boy, another patron. Hey, Randy, why do you keep distracting me at work? Listen, Buff, this is my work, all right? And what I'm trying to do is bring you a little respite from your work during the week, just for a little while. You don't have to stay the whole hour, but you can take a little bit of a break. There we go, $5. Another Washington resident, Vancouver this time, the original Vancouver. Are you enjoying your KN-RU7? Are you planning to review it? Yes, I keep getting asked for that. I'm committed to reviewing it this week. All right, I'm gonna put it down. I'm gonna review it this week. The problem is my headphone reviews, they don't do great as far as like view count. So I'm probably gonna combine it with with another, maybe a headphone and an IAM review. Maybe that's what we'll do. I heard the caps and thought they were beautiful, but found them a tad thin. Well, that is a reoccurring theme with some of the, like, it seems like the higher end you go in the cap, the thinner they get. I love the Q150s, but I still like to hear them. How do you stop wanting to buy new audio gear? You take a breath, and then you just commit to yourself, I'm not buying anything new for a month or two, and then just enjoy what you have. I saw something else in here. So what can we do to get you the last 2% to hit 200K? I've threatened everyone I know and paid off a few people, possibly done some things I can't talk about. Listen, I want to do a promotion. We're going to get there. I mean, it's happening. I'm growing every day, and we're going to get there for sure. So hopefully we get there by October 19th, which is the 3-year anniversary of the channel. And it would be so cool if I could hit 200K before the 3-year anniversary, which would be awesome. But it's going to happen. And I'll put the link in the description to fill it out and everything. If usually people that aren't subscribers don't watch these. Usually I always lose subscribers during live streams. So anyway, what up from New Jersey? What up, Timo? Ever consider testing vintage speakers? I have an extra pair of AR90s, and I bet they would beat the Elike Unifies handily. I imagine they will. I just had a friend pick up a pair of ADS, Brock, one of my patrons. The problem is like testing vintage speakers is great and all, but it's not really applicable to the majority of the people watching. It's a fun video to do. I've done videos on vintage receivers before, but I don't know how much value I'm actually bringing to the audience when I do vintage stuff. Vintage speakers, vintage amps are great. The other thing is you never know what condition you're going to get them in, even if you can find them. And then chances are most people aren't going to be able to get a hold of whatever vintage equipment I'm talking about. So I try to do what's most valuable to the most amount of people, in my opinion. And although I love vintage, now we're going to be talking, there's going to be a special video coming out that's all about vintage. But that's generally the reason why I don't put a lot of vintage content on the channel, if that makes sense. Zen of the Cheap Audio Man. There's a book called Zen and the Art of Bicycle Maintenance, which is cool. All right. We got some. Here we go. Trevor, $10. Thank you. You just mentioned CES. What shows are on your schedule for remainder of 23 and into 24? So, which is in November. I think it's the November teens, like maybe the 10th through the 13th or something like that. So I'm definitely going to that. I'm planning on going to Florida, which I think is in February. I'd like to hit CES. No idea when that is. I think it's generally the early part of the year. There's going to be supposed to be an audio show similar to Capitol and the Pacific Audio Show in Texas next year. So of course I'm planning on going to that one. And then, what is it? Expona in April. So yeah, a lot of them. It's going to be fun. Oh my goodness. Terry Hughes, $9.99. You guys are so generous. Greg Walrath. Thank you, Terry. Really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. Greg Walrath, $5. Sorry if this has been asked before, but were you ever able to listen to the Polk R700s? How would you compare them to the Q Acoustics 5040s? Unfortunately, no. And I don't really have a contact at Sound United right now. It's interesting. I was talking to somebody else, now related to the industry, whose husband works for the company, the medical device company, which bought Sound United, and some of the drama that happened behind the scenes with that purchase. It was a very interesting conversation. Simon, patiently awaiting your RU7 review. Okay, not so patiently. I'm sorry, brother. I'll get to it. I will say this, that dongle DAC probably doesn't belong on an iPhone. That dongle DAC probably needs to be plugged in a computer because it does draw power from whatever it's plugged into, and it can't quite keep up with stuff on an iPhone unless it's super efficient. So that's kind of a foreshadowing. Motorcycle maintenance. I knew that, but I think there's also one about bicycle maintenance. We got another one. Send in the art of motorcycle maintenance. Yep. Very good. All right. I think we're caught up. If you don't already have a hotel room for CES, you could be staying in Reno. Reno is cool, man. I've stayed in Reno before. I imagine they gotta have hotels, man. They know how many people are coming in. There it is. CES is usually the first week of January, and it's always really cold. I love cold weather. Already have an Apple TV. No need for another streamer. There you go. I use my Apple TV to stream all the time. What's going on in Florida in February? There's an audio show. I think it's called the Florida Audio Show. I just saw something. Every time I go try to click on something, more stuff comes in. There it is. Just one veteran to another. Thanks. Enjoying my Tecton Lores with the Denon 800 CD and a shit as Freya and Vidar. Life is good. Thank you, Terry. Thank you for your service too, my friend. Oh, by the way, if you're struggling with mental health, it's Suicide Awareness Month. So if you're having any weird thoughts about harming yourself, dial 988 and press option 1, and you'll get to talk to somebody. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem. That's what it is. So don't be ashamed about getting help. Carson, $25. Show idea. Cross between Steve Gutenberg, one of the OGs of YouTube. Excellent channel. And Steve G's viewer system and Fluff's riff beards and guitars. Rate my rig. All right. Have viewers send in pics, details of their cheap system, maybe for different price ranges, and then critique them. Yeah, I hate to do that though, man, because then I don't want to make people feel bad about their system. So yeah. Just drains the phone in 4 to 5 hours. Well, I'll tell you this, the RU6, sometimes when it hit big bass thumps, it would just cut out. Like it would stop. And there is some other quirks like that. I think the RU7 is better, but that would be kind of the thing that would happen. Like I remember trying to listen to Seven Dust. I can't remember which track it was. It just wouldn't play it unless you turned it all really, really down. Florida Audio Expo, February 16th through the 18th in Tampa. Yeah, I'm definitely planning to go to that one. All right. Whew. Hey, Randy, did you experience any problems with the Weem latest update? I'm having problems with the devices connecting with streamers, Mini and Pro. Also problems with the Weem new equalizer settings. I haven't. Do you know when it came out? I've been listening to my Weem pretty regularly recently. So, yeah. I don't know. I do know, though, that if there's a quirky update, they'll update it real quick because they're really on the ball when it comes to updates. Grumpy Rick, $1.99. Don't be grumpy. Don't have a case of the Mondays, Rick. You should rename yourself to Optimistic Rick. Phono Preamp, thank you for the $1.99. I really appreciate it. Phono Preamps. I keep touching this. Which one? On a budget, there's a $60 one from Fozzy. It's like tube something or other. It's got 2 tubes in it. Decent. Really warms things up. Let's see. For 150-ish, I would go with the Schkitz. It's not the Magni. Um, it's not the Magni. It's not the Modi. The Manny, Nanny. That's 150, I think. For another $50, then I would look at the iFi Zen Phono, which is spectacular. And I hate to recommend iFi products, but the Zen Phono is hard to argue with. It's just so darn good. And then after that, I like this one. This is the Project Tube S2. Excellent. It's $500 though, so it's not cheap, but it's really good. So that's kind of good, better, best for me. Outside of like, I've never gone really above $500 for a Phono Preamp, so I can't talk with any type of confidence about anything above $500. So there you go. All right. This is a good idea. I think that would be fun. All right. On an IEM question mark. I don't know. Watching with my kid. Hello, Chris Veltman's child. Kid is wondering what your favorite meal was on the submarine, non-holiday special occasion. Well, that's about the only time when the meals were really good, because like on Christmas or Thanksgiving, man, they would just all the stops, man. And it was pretty good. I will tell you, my favorite thing to eat on the submarine was yeast rolls, and they would have them every meal, except for one time when they ran out at watch rotation, and I got upset and I said, "How do you run out of rolls when half the boat hasn't eaten?" And apparently, my tone was strong enough that I had to go talk to the COB, which stands for Chief of the Boat. So that was the thing that I look forward to every day. And then I was buddies with one of the cooks, and at the time I was like really worried about my physique, and I was working out a lot. So he'd make me egg white omelets, and then I also drank a lot of Diet Coke. So I don't really have a favorite. They also had really good desserts. So they'd have like Snickers, cheesecake, and all sorts of stuff like that. But after about 4 weeks, they ran out of like fruits and vegetables. And then about like 3/4 of the way through the patrol, they run out of milk. And so the end of the patrol they get very creative with the meals. But the yeast rolls were pretty awesome. Yeah. 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 Good gravy. All right. I'm going to take a drink. Then we're going to go after some more of these comments. I can feel myself getting more healthy with water. How about instead of critique, you point out what their next upgrade should be? That's a great idea. All right. We're just going to go down. Oh, look at this. Josh Baker, $5. Hey, Randy, big thank you for guiding me in my audiophile journey. Having tons of fun so far. Well, thank you, Josh. Thank you for supporting the channel and making this actually happen. This is like a dream come true, to be able to do this for a living. Spotify finally will do Hi-Fi Supremium. Is that true? Did they finally go lossless Supremium? I look forward to your future current and past content vids. Well, thank you. Kick drum 73. That's funny because my number when I played football was 73, and I used to play the drums. Cool. I never can get this right. Sizgy Noon, $4.99. I'm confused about where you stand with tubes. I know you would prefer to stay away from them, but they do provide a little something extra warmth. I've had the exact opposite experience with tubes. Tubes generally for me push the mid-range so forward that it's uncomfortable, and then they don't have any bass. That's been my experience, but I also listen to fairly inexpensive tube amps. EL34s, EL84s. So not my jam, but I don't mind them in like a preamp or a phono preamp. Like I don't mind them at all. But just like as far as like power amps, I just haven't found one I like. I do like the Black Ice Audio FX10. That's been like my favorite of the tube amps that I've ever tried, and that's about $600. So it doesn't really break the bank. Okay, Spotify Premium still lossy. Okay, I didn't know if they finally like went lossless. Yeah, 320 kilobits per second is very lossy. Chris, thank you, man, so much. Not my experience with tubes. I get it. Like there's people that love tubes. I'm just saying I've listened to a fair number of tube amps at this point in the 3 years, almost 3 years that this channel has been going. And that's just my preference. I'm not saying my preferences should be everybody's preference. If you love tubes, awesome. I just don't like them with my music that I listen to. It pushes things too forward in the mids, and it's uncomfortable for me. But if you love tubes, man, jump in. Water's fine. Supremium Spotify Supo. Tony, you're gonna have to explain yourself, man. I'm not following. I have a Jolita now, Black Ice DAC. That was great. Very cool. Toronto. When it comes to tubes, it's a highly pay-to-play space for audiophile sound and performance. Yeah. See ya. Thanks for the channel. Thomas Bowden. Did I make you mad? Oh. A classmate of mine was a Strat Weeps officer on the George Washington Carver. Okay. He talks about a smell that pervades everything and is instantly recognizable. What is that? That is lube oil. Yeah. It gets into everything. It's just constant. I bought my oldest daughter a teddy bear in San Diego, and I had to wrap it in, I believe, 3 or 4 different J-sealed thick. So I worked in the engine room, and I dealt a lot with radioactive waste, and so you'd have to package up the radioactive waste in a specific way, and it's called a J-seal. So what you do is you take, like, let's just say it's a trash bag, but they're a lot thicker. So you take the bag and you wrap it so that, there's no, it's not an edge anymore. So it's like a thing. And then you would take that wrapped edge and you would wrap it down upon itself like a J, and then you would have to tape it up like that. So I did like 3 or 4 of those bags, J sealed the teddy bear, so that when we came in, it didn't reek of lube oil. Actually worked. How about 30 essays, Mark Silgalis? Thank you, Mark. How about 30 SACDs? Buy a CD player or just forget it and buy a CD transport for my DAC that I love. Thanks for everything. Okay, have about 30 SACs. Buy a SACD player or just forget it and buy a CD transport. No. Here's what you should do. You should go buy a Sony Ultra HD Blu-ray player and use it as a transport, because most Sony, once you get like most Sony Blu-rays and Sony UHD players will play SACDs. So just when you're looking at that, and I think I got mine for $130, and then you can just use it as a transport and watch 4K UHD DVDs. So yeah, which incidentally, I think they're actually better than streaming. Like I watch, I've watched some movies on Ultra HD, and it just seems like they have a richer color. Excuse me. What is your opinion on using Pro amps? I've got a Crown drive core that I've used before. I needed to tweak it up a little bit with some EQ though. So I think it's cheap power. I think some people swear by putting like Maggies on drive core. You can bridge them. They have gain. They have clipping meters. I mean, they're pretty cool. I just out of the box, the Crown Drive core just wasn't my cup of tea. But I mean, if you want to go loud, you can definitely use those. Outside of the Crown, I haven't really played around with any pro amps. But sorry, I know people do it and love it. So cheap power. Any reviews of Purify amps? I think I've had some that had some Purify modules. I can't remember which one. Yeah, I can't remember which one, Trevor. Purify modules. The iFi Tube 2 is a magic little tube pre with a good bass boost. I also tried the Black Ice Soundstage expander, but I like the iFi Tube 2 better. They were very close. iFi no longer makes the Tube 2. Go figure. I don't like iFi. They were so mean to me. They tried to bully me. Does the Ween Pro play Apple Music? The Mini does not. I don't think so. Apple Music's a weird animal. The irony of Apple Music is most of the time you have to AirPlay Apple Music if you want to put it into your system, with the exception of an Amazon product. So that, hold on. Travis.
Randy, did I catch you in the middle of a live stream?
Yeah, you know you did too. I'm hanging up on you. Don't cuss because I'm on the computer. All right, bye. That's my buddy messing with me. Anyway, the Amazon, what is it? It's their streamer that plays Amazon Music, and then you can just like use it as an endpoint. What is that? Anyway, you can put a setting in the Alexa app to use Apple Music as your de facto or default streaming service, and you will actually be able to play Apple Music, stream Apple Music as a true streamer, but it only works with voice commands. So there is a workaround. And then I think Sonos works with Apple Music, and I think some of the Eversolo, the streamer that everyone's doing backflips over, I think that works with Apple Music. I think you have to install an app or something like that. Barry Sullivan, hit the like button. That is if you like the stream, or even if you don't. I agree, even if you don't like it. Tech Med, man, you give me so many super chats. You're the best. Have a can of nice coffee. Greetings from Germany. Greetings, my friend. I really appreciate that. Thomas Dix, $10. You the man. No one mentions HD CDs anymore. Yeah, man, CDs have gone through some funny ones. You know, they have MQA CDs too, like 3 of them. Sony PS3 can play SACD natively, very cheap and good quality. You may have one already. Yeah, so look at all of your Sony products if you have any, because I think they just put whatever. I don't know if SACD is like a I don't know if that's a hardware thing or a software thing, but anyway, it's like an afterthought that's in just about any somewhat modern Sony disc player of any sort. So that's probably the cheapest way to get your SACDs to work. Yeah, Sonos plays Apple. Yeah, that's what I was saying. I think Sonos, and funny enough, the Amazon Link, that's what it's called, plays it. The Hi-Fi Rose streamers play Apple Music natively. Yeah, super affordable. Everybody should run on out and get a Hi-Fi Rose streamer. They also have a great YouTube client that removes ads. Have Rune-like interface. Great streamers, but expensive. Listen, man, I don't want anybody removing YouTube ads. That's how I make a living. You can watch an ad or two. I think it's funny that, like, for the past 10 years, like, people don't want to, like, sit through ads anymore. TV too, for sure. And anything online. Like there's a certain entitlement that people have these days about free entertainment. And I don't know when it started, but it's funny. It's a weird concept that people just want to take entertainment. And I mean, it's not like you have to do anything. You just sit through an ad. But anyway, I find that an interesting thing. Because I mean, it's funny because like entertainers, musicians, people writing articles, newspaper articles. Like think about if somebody like whatever you do, like think about if somebody just like, I think you should do that for free, and I want to take whatever you do for free. It's such an interesting concept. SACD only goes through HDMI, can't output to DAC. Yeah, I think it's like multi-channel, right? You can also burn, I don't know, Ed would know the answer to this. You can also burn an SACD to a DSF file with the PlayStation. Good, look at Ed is so smart. What is a pro amp? Like pro audio. So stuff that's designed for music production, like live music performances or music production or things like that. So pro audio, you would find it in like stores that sell guitars and amps and things like that, like guitar amps, drums. Guitar Center probably sells pro amps. PS4 can't play CDs, weirdly enough. Weird. Sipophonics audio. What up? Hola, Randy. Excited to see you climbing up to 200K. That's super cool. Thank you so much. It is cool. It's crazy. 200,000 subscribers. I wish I got 200,000 views on every video, or even 100,000 views. That would be cool. We'd love to see you review the Monolith Monoprice M518HT THX system. It's only $385 right now. I've got a contact over there. They might send it to me. I use 2 Crown amps, 2502 and 3500. Love them, both Class D and AB respectively. Very cool. Thoughts on KEF Q150s? Love them. It's my favorite KEF speaker they make, and it's ironically the cheapest one that they make. But don't buy them unless they're on sale for the $300. I plan on buying them at my first real bookshelf speakers. They're spectacular. Love the Q150s. I love the Q150s more than the Q350s. And ironically, if you look at the specs, the Q150s with a 5.25-inch woofer actually is spec'd lower than the Q350s. But the 150s are far and away my favorite KEF speaker. And they're super cool looking. I love the way they look. The internet. Thank you, Haywood X. Run Apple Music on my Android. Love it. My Apple TV got me into Apple Music. Very cool. Entertainment entitlement started with Napster. I would have a tendency to agree with that. For sure. You can get a subscription, no ads. It's funny though that people will go out of their way to install some type of software so they don't have to watch ads. To your point, like you can pay whatever it is for YouTube Red without ads, but so yeah. Ed says the Crown Drive Core is prosumer stuff. There you go. I'm getting hungry. I have an old pair of headphones from Sony, and they sound absolutely amazing. I use them all the time. I'll cry when they finally die. They're better than my overpriced Bose earbuds. See if you can find them on like eBay or something, and then buy a whole bunch of them. PS3 can output audio through the optical audio output. Yeah, here's the thing though. I don't know if it can output multi-channel. Are SACDs multi-channel, or is it just PCM? I think you can go in and then bit stream out of it too. So yeah. Ground loop elimination tips. First try changing your RCAs to a little bit better RCA. Because sometimes that has been, I thought it was a ground loop and it was actually a really crappy RCA. And then you can look at a Furman power conditioner for like $60 or $70. And then you can look at running a longer extension cord to another and to Ed's texting me. You can run a longer extension cord to another outlet to see if that will work. And then if that doesn't work, you can get a ground lift. I think you can buy one, an outboard ground lift, something or other. So those are some places to start. Ed said that SACD is not multi-channel. Apple Music on Apple mobile hardware is the only service that dynamically adjusts bitrate per track. Funny enough, this currently isn't true for Mac OS though. That's not true. Tidal adjusts bit and sample rate. So does Amazon. Yeah. At least it changes it on my my Dacs. What are your thoughts on using graphic EQs from 80s versus newer ones? Yamaha Pioneer versus Lokius. I have an old TIAC, and then I had an old. Actually, I have two. I have a TIAC and I have a Realistic. The thing about those are they're so heavy-handed. Like they have a plus like 16 dB gain, minus 16 dB gain. I think if it's like a solid product, it's fine, but I'm willing to bet that the newer stuff out there is not going to screw things up as badly. I played around with my Realistic. I need to get a newer one because that one's a little bit rough around the edges, and I do hear sometimes like I'll lose the left channel and then I have to like hit it. I got it mostly for like the analyzer RTI, the lights. If you're after the utmost and high fidelity, I would look at something more recent. If you're after something that looks cool and is fun and reminds you like of yesteryear, then you can get like a vintage, something from the 70s or something from the 80s or 90s. I've got two of them. The TIAC doesn't work though. One of the channels is out on that. I need a drink. Only have 20-inch by 24 corner for stereo shelves. Can you recommend a source for a good shelving unit? I don't know. So you need like a corner shelf? If you've got a circular saw, you could go buy a sheet of like MDF, not MDF. Don't buy a sheet of MDF. Sorry, buy a sheet of like Baltic birch plywood, and you could finish it up. Otherwise, I'd look at IKEA. $5. Thank you. Appreciate it. Otherwise, you're going to start spending a bunch. So I would look at IKEA and see. And if it doesn't work, then I would like try to, I don't know. What do you call it? Like fiddle with it to make it work. Ooh, Keith Boyd, $10. Thank you so much. Got a J2S with an AKM and Sparkos op amps. Outstanding product. Amazed at how open and natural it sounds. Using Cobuzz. Wii Mini. Great recommendation. Yeah. That's an awesome. Like you went for it, man. Like that's the you spec'd it out with those Sparkos. Very good, man. But it's, I have yet to actually have a J2 with the Sparko. I think I've got some Sparkos installed on an IEMA, but I don't have any J2s that have socketed op amp receivers yet. I'm gonna yawn. Excuse me. Sorry. All right. Got a Rotel. Oh, look at that boxer. I had my best buddy, Tinkerbell. Boxer. He died. 7. Love boxers. Well, I loved my boxer. I'm sure some of them can be giant jerks, but mine was not. Got a Rotel A11 Tribute to replace the Iota VX that keeps blowing transistors. Tribute is superior by far. I didn't love the Iota VX. I thought it was super, super thin sounding, like compared to at the time, it was the Emotiva TA100. I had Ron from New Record Day actually loaned me the Iota VX. I didn't love it. And the way that you had to like bridge it to get more power out of it just seemed strange to me. So, yeah. Hey, Patrick McNally. Hey, from Regina, Saskatchewan. Hello. What's up, my Canadian brother? Do you explain audio devices to your wife kids? I just moved in with my girlfriend and set up a 3.1 system. I want her to get into audio too. Where to start? Put on something that she likes and just let her listen to it. That's about as far as I've taken it. Like I had some really good planar headphones in, and so I turned on something for my wife. And usually I know I have about 30 seconds to a minute to impress her. Otherwise, she wants to do something else. So I turned on some music on these planar headphones, and she was like, whoa. And then I've had her listen to some of my speakers before, but I've never like, sometimes I've started trying to explain things and like, I just kind of see her just start to drift off. So I don't really particularly try to explain it, but my kids all use decent headphones or IEMs. My stepson's really into it. He's got a whole system. But yeah, just as soon as get her to hear her favorite music and hear something extra in it, and that's about as far as you're going to get it. At least that's been my experience. What's the best AVR for around 2500 or less range for 4 ohm speakers? So I would look at the MR1 from Emotiva. The user interface is a little bit dated, or a lot of it dated, but it sounds spectacular. It doesn't have nearly as many bells and whistles as a lot of the other stuff, but it sounds amazing. Then I would look at the Pioneer VTX LX 305. That comes in about like half. I think that comes in around $1,200. But I would also look at the there's an Onkyo that has preamp outs for every channel, and I think that comes in around $1,400. And then what I would do is I would add, I would start with that, and then I would save up money for an outboard amplifier, like multi-channel amp from somebody like Emotiva, and that's how I would do it. But the MR1 from Emotiva is spectacular. The Pioneers that are running Dirac, spectacular. And then the Onkyo, I don't know if it runs Dirac or not, but you could use that basically as a processor. You could use it as an AVR for now and then a processor later. And then I would look at anything from Marantz. Marantz sounds really good. So yeah, there you go. And all of them should easily drive 4 ohm speakers. What's the best practice for adjusting volume gain for a preamp, an amp with their own controls? Running a Relix new BP50. I need to buy that. I think I really torqued them off though with my review of the H something. And Fozzy V3 for near field 2.1. Lots of conflicting info here. So I think on the V3 you can crank it all the way. But if you are a little bit concerned with that, then I would take the power amp up to 75% of the span. Although the V3 has a really long throw volume pot. So you can, like, I've cranked. So I've done the same thing. I've used the Fozzy Audio V3 as a power amp on the Schmidt Sin, and I've just cranked it all the way. And then I control volume from the Sin. So Yeah, it shouldn't really be conflicting, because what you're really doing with I don't know why you're getting conflicting info from other folks, because what the amplifier really is doing is just being a regular amplifier. So you want to set the gain, which is the volume, as high as possible. But some cheap amplifiers and some even expensive amplifiers will start to clip before you get to 100% of the volume span on there. So in most instances, I would say take the volume up to the 75% of the span. However, with the V3, I think you're safe to go all the way. And if not all the way, just like take it all the way and then just back it off like maybe an eighth of a turn. But it's got a really long throw volume pod on there. So there you go. What you really want to do is you want to be controlling volume with the preamp on there. Thanks, Rennie. Gotta go. See ya, Ed. Thank you. The Onk Z50, yes, D-Rack and preamp ounce for all channels. There you go, Wes Fletcher, another patron, another former Navy veteran. He's got great stories about monkeys and his travels around the world. Is the Discord only for Patreons? Yes, it is. That's one of the bennies of being a patron. And like being a patron, I think I have a $3 tier. So you can try it out, hang out. Great, great Discord community. I've got two great, I call them Discord overlords. You can call them moderators if you want. So we don't put up with any riffraff in there. Mr. Future Technology Gaming Infinite Resolute. What up? What up to you, my friend? Mm-hmm. Thanks, Randy. Awesome advice. We love our movies, music, records. But as soon as I can start to nerd out, she drifts off. LOL. Yeah. Just ease her into it. I mean, and get her just to hear something different. That's about it. How does loudness control work on Yamaha receivers? So loudness is a thing that came about in the 70s. I think it was Herman Munson, something like that, curve. Basically, what happens is when you are listening at lower volumes, our ears are tuned to hear mid-range. And why? Because that's vocal region. So we are sensitive to mid-range levels. So our ears are going to hear it differently than they hear other. Anyway, at lower volumes, what loudness control basically does is it boosts the bass and it boosts the treble. And now as you turn it up, once you get to a certain level, then the bass and treble in theory comes in line with the mid-range. But listening at lower volumes, we don't hear the bass and treble as well as we do when things are louder. So that's what a loudness control does. And a lot of Yamahas have variable loudness control, so you can kind of control the level of that V curve down and up. Yeah. Opinions on acoustic room treatments. I think if you have the budget and you have the room, you should take a look at it. I don't think it's nearly as important as a lot of people think it is at all. So, yeah. But like I said, there's a lot of affordable options. I've got some, I can't remember. I think it's Tossen, Tossen. They sent some in. Some people are going to tell you that it makes the world a difference. It's the most important thing in the system. That hasn't been my experience, but I don't live in a glass box nor a cinder block bunker. So I have drywall, I have furniture, I have carpet, I have a fireplace, I have lamps, I have curtains. So there's all sorts of things that are already kind of treating my room already without actually even using dedicated acoustic room treatments. But if you can clap your hands and you hear a pretty decent echo, then you could probably benefit from some wisely or placed room treatments. B2 plus or T0 plus. I like the B2 plus, and then with the sub. T0 plus are fun. They're small. But yeah, that's what I would do. B2 plus. I think the T0 plus though, I got the V2 pluses right here. I think the T0 plus though is going to have a little bit cleaner mid range, but I like the thicker mid range, even though it's a little bit less detailed on the B2 plus. All right, couple more, and then we're going to give it. We're going to end this. Turntables. I do not understand what I get when I pay over $1,000 for a turntable. Set it in place, have a good stylus, and play the record. They both can do that. What am I missing? You start to get into like motor isolation, vibration isolation, better bearings, better speed control, more consistent speed control, stuff like that. Better cartridges, better tone arm, lighter tone arm, more rigid tone arm. But if you're more of a casual vinyl listener, then yeah, you probably don't need anything better than the Fluence RT85 or one of the new U-turn orbits with the speed control. But it's, I'm actually getting ready to unbox a Michel Engineering turntable that comes in around $1,000. Actually has the motor completely separate from the turntable. So it's not even in the plinth. So there's a lot of things that can go into it. Are you going to be able to hear a difference? I don't know. It depends on the rest of your system for sure. Depends on how much you're into vinyl. But that's what you're getting. Better plinth, better motor, stiffer tone arm, lighter tone arm, VTA, more adjustments and things like that. Dun, dun, dun. All right. I'm going to make sure I didn't miss any super chats before we sign off. All right. What a fun way to spend a Monday afternoon. Thank you so much for all your generosity. Y'all are great. I cannot thank you enough for watching the channel, for supporting the channel. I am truly blessed to be able to do this for a living and support my family and get to hang out and meet all you awesome people. So have a great week. More content to come this week. And be safe. Be kind to each other. I love you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.